definitely show up before the fireworks show starts. So, remember to come and pick up your weapons from me before then, okay? No matter how powerful the Great Mujina Yokai might be, it's no match for my specially made fireworks. Just light them up and you'll scare it off no problem. It's up to you guys to protect your homes, your crops, and your folks.
Got it! Thanks, Miss Yoimiya. We'll
Oh, yeah, hold up a sec. I have a few slips of paper for you guys, one each. Remember to give it to your parents and tell them to keep it safe. Just tell them it's from Yoimiya. They'll know what it's about.
Okay. Thank you, Yoimiya.
Oh, thanks, Yoimiya. Come play with us soon.
Sure thing, will do. Take care on the way back, and I'll see you later. So it was you guys. I guessed as much from the way the kids described you. No worries, though. I'm not blaming you. The Great Mujina Yokai is pretty popular with the kids, so of course they're...
Okay, but it definitely doesn't...
Yeah, the first time I heard about it, I knew straight away that was probably something the parents had come up with to stop the kids from running off all the time. But when the kids asked me about it, I didn't want to break it to them. I just told them that it looks cute and likes to play pranks and doesn't hurt people. So, I guess now the kids' impression of the Great Mujina Yokai is mostly influenced by me.
Huh. So in a way, this monster is all a product of your...
Maybe so. In any case, I'm not gonna be the one who exposes it. Sure, it's likely that the parents just wanted to stop the kids from staying out all the time. But they could have easily had other reasons too. If I just go ahead and tell them that the Great Mujina Yokai doesn't exist without knowing the full story, then who knows? I might be doing more harm than good. Besides, they're just kids. They should be allowed to believe it if it makes them happy. That's more important to them than questioning what's real and what isn't. Heck, I entertain my fair share of fantasies too. The fire diamond that spins around and shoots out lights that are all the colors of the rainbow. Ooh, the mist spirits that live far off in the mountains and guide you to fairyland if you can find them. I know that they don't really exist, but I still enjoy believing in them. If someone came up to me and started telling me to stop being so stupid, they don't exist, I'd give them the evil eyes and tell them to get the heck out of my face because it's just so annoying. Right? So what if it's made up? It's also really awesome and kind of magical. So it's not up to anyone else to tell me what's what. The things we believed and the experiences we had when we were young turn into our priceless treasures as we grow up. When you were kids, surely you guys believed in things like heroes who slew dragons and sacred swords that cut through darkness. It's the same thing. If we tear apart these kids' fairy tales now, what else do we have to tell them? That Inazuma's locked down? All the grim tales of the Vision Hunt Decree?
Yeah! Oh, way too early. For sure.
Whether you understood me or not, don't you worry. I'll take care of the kids and make sure they stay safe. Okay, it's about time I headed back. The Naganohara fireworks show is just around the corner, and there's still a lot of things to get ready.
Naganohara fireworks show? Is that hosted by your family or something?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why our name is on the event. It's well known throughout Inazuma. Oh, on the subject, are you busy these days? See my box? There's still a few fireworks to finish off before the show. Inazuma is home to the Yai Publishing House, and a lot of people who like to write stories too. In fact, most of what they write is based off of the kinds of fairy tales I was just talking about. A lot of them have bad endings though. Like, the fire diamond will get put in a rich person's gallery where it will never be ignited again. Or, someone will see the mist spirit and not manage to catch it, but because they angered it, it'll never show itself again. The hero who slays the dragon becomes the next dragon. The sacred sword that once fought the darkness now becomes a doomsday weapon. I know these kinds of stories are all the rage nowadays, but I really can't bring myself to like them. If something's magical, it should be kept that way. Pops. I'm back.
The fireworks show is almost upon us, and the fireworks for each family are almost ready. Oh, new faces? Who are these two? Friends or customers?
A bit of both, actually. They worked in Inazuma just recently. Can't let them miss out on a fireworks show after coming all this way, can we?
Well, either way, come on in and have a seat. And I, Naganahara Ryunosuke, will tell you all about the long history...
That can wait. Pops, I need to ask you about something.
A long, long time ago.
Pops has started telling... Sorry about this. Ever since Pops had his accident, his ears don't work too well.
Really? But for a moment there, it almost seemed like you were having a...
Much, much later, people eventually realized that if you grind certain materials into dust, they burn with many beautiful colors.
Pops, wait!
Huh? What's that?
Did they deliver those firework materials that we ordered yet?
Oh! Yesterday's fireworks have all been delivered. So have the ones from the day before yesterday. And the ones from the day before that.
No, Pops, I meant the materials. The materials that we ordered. They should have arrived.
Ah, today's fireworks are almost ready too. Don't you worry. Your old man...
No, Pops, the materials. The raw materials for making fireworks.
Sorry?
Materials!
Oh, the materials!
Yes! Sorry, Paimon got all excited because you...
The materials aren't here yet. The couriers did come over to explain why, but... Well, I think they did, but I couldn't quite hear what they were saying.
No worries. As long as we know, that's fine. We can just make them later. Don't forget to take the goods in when they deliver them. Okay, Pops?
Of course. Leave it to me.
Oh, sorry if we were a little loud. It's always the way, though. It's like that every time I need to ask Pop something. That's my Pops. He's a good person, all right. Everyone around here respects him. Because my Pops is deaf, he never argues with anyone and never contradicts them. He just listens cheerfully. When I was little, I thought it was because he really understood me and agreed with whatever I had to say. So, I told my Pops everything. Eventually, I realized that the reason he was like that was that he's deaf. But I still tell him stories every day.
Huh? Why would you do that?
It just makes me happy to see him smile. And it keeps him from being lonely, right? Anyway, more importantly right now, the fireworks show is right around the corner and the materials still haven't arrived. We need to think of an
Yoimiya?
Oh,
Sorry.
Hold on. I'm coming over.
मुझे बंदे को मारने के लिए
No one's looking. Okay, you can come out now. Come around the side. We're lucky that no one from the Tenryo Commission was around. Otherwise, we'd all be in big trouble.
Sorry, I guess I was a little rash, but when I heard you come back, I just...
Don't worry, Sakajiro. So far, at least, everything is going according to plan. We're going to look for firework materials shortly. While we're out, we'll sort out the boat situation for you, as promised.
Thank you for all your help.
हेलो भाई जो भी है चैट में
He's one of our old customers. He came back to Inazuma from the outside world not long ago. While he was smuggling himself in, the Tenryo Commission found him and put out a warrant for his arrest.
An arrest warrant?
Shh! Keep it down! We don't want to draw any unwanted attention.
Bro, who was this guy, bro?
If Sakajiro was caught, there's no knowing what crimes they could charge him with. All we can do is find him a boat and send him out of Inazuma again.
Okay.
Yeah, we know it's going to be dangerous, but there aren't many other options left.
इसका सीक्रेट पढ़ी है ये यूने का सीक्रेट हैंडल है ऐसा है क्या भाई?
What if the boat capsizes? Drowning is really scary. If things are this bad, couldn't you have just not come back in the first place?
Well,
Bruh.
there's something I felt I had to do. But as soon as I got back, I started hearing about all these unbelievable changes. I had made my mind up originally, but I didn't want to cause any trouble for Yoimiya or Mr. Ryunosuke, but I'm very grateful to them for taking me in.
भाई अब सब समझ जाऊंगा ये तो भाई अंदर बैठ
Hey, no worries. You're more than welcome. Remember what I said? As long as you've got that little piece of paper, you'll owe it.
Little piece of paper?
Yep, the same paper slips as the one I gave to the kids earlier. Whenever a customer orders fireworks for a commemorative event, we always include a little paper slip with the goods. Only people from inside my family can understand what's written on it. If someone shows a Naganohara that paper slip, we guarantee we can make the exact same firework.
भाई कितना बोलते हैं भाई ये
That is so awesome!
मुझे कोई एनिमी दो भाई मारने के लिए तभी मजा
It's a
आएगा
family tradition. All our regular customers know about this.
The slip I have is from back when my parents ordered fireworks from Mr. Ryunosuke. Now that I think about it, it must...
भाई 20 साल
Who would have thought that things would turn out the way they have?
It'll be fine. Escaping in a boat is just a last resort for if there's no other way. I'll still try and come up with a different solution, because it'd be much
43.
better if you could stay in Inazuma. Whatever the reasons might be, if our customers come to us looking for help, we're not about to leave them high and dry.
हाँ भाई कर दूंगा आईडी बता दो अपना
Thank you. This way, I still have some time to consider my options.
All right. Well, let's not stay out here in the open for too long. Hurry up and get back inside. I'll let you know as soon as I have an update for you.
All right, I'll leave it to you then, I guess.
भाई कितना बकबक किया भाई इसने भाई
It's a shame. They still wouldn't give him a permit. Speaking of,
अबे भाई
you guys only got here recently. How did you manage to get a permit?
Even then, we only got through thanks to some help from Miss Hiragi Chisato.
I see. So you had big shots helping you. I guess that won't be of much help to Sakujiro. I just wish the commissions could be a little bit more flexible.
अच्छा साउंड कम है क्या हेलो अरे यार ये माइक चेंज करना पड़ेगा मेरे को ये माइक थोड़ा सा ख़राब सा है नया माइक लूँगा लाइक नए ईयरफोन्स हेडफोन्स लूँगा तो ठीक हो जाएगा
I bet nowhere else you've been is quite like Inazuma, huh?
अब आ रही है वैसे ठीक आवाज़ कर दूंगा भाई हेल्प तुम आईडी दे दे अपना चैट में आईडी लिख दे मैं कर लूँगा फिर ऐड
Well, no matter what, I have to find a way to help him. I'm sorry. You don't have to join me if you don't want to. Oh, cool! Then let's start with Sakujiro's boat. We can chat along the way. Oh yeah! If it's fine with you, can I ask how you two first met?
She saved me from drowning this one time, and after that, we started traveling together. Why do you ask?
Nothing. I'm just quite envious of your relationship. If my pops had a person like you around, his being deaf wouldn't hold things up all the time. Why do you look so excited?
Because you said person and not floating child or mascot.
अरे यार
Perhaps this is karma.
इन्हीं कन्वर्सेशन को स्किप करा करो, ये पूरे करते हैं, फिर लास्ट में अपना खुद का दिमाग लगाना पड़ता है। टैप 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 स्किप UID अभी कर लेता हूँ ऐड। ऐड कहाँ से करूँ? एंटर करता हूँ UID। यही है ना आईडी? देख भाई, यही आईडी थी ना, मैंने भेजी थी इस पे फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट। ओके भाई। प्रिपेयर अ बोट फॉर हाउ टू डू अ लॉन्ग टाइम। अभी कर लेता हूँ, आ जाओ ऑनलाइन। क्वेस्ट जाए भाड़ में भाई। अभी कर लेता हूँ, आ जाओ ऑनलाइन। क्वेस्ट जाए भाड़ में भाई। अभी कर लेता हूँ, आ जाओ ऑनलाइन। क्वेस्ट जाए भाड़ में भाई। अरे मैं स्ट्रीम की चला के बैठूँगा यार, आवाज़ देखो हो रही होगी स्ट्रीम में। मैं आता हूँ तेरे वर्ल्ड में, आता हूँ मैं। तेरे वर्ल्ड में आता हूँ मैं, तू ऑनलाइन आ जा।
Koichi, I'm here. How is the boat coming along?
Yeah, it's, all right, I guess. I was questioned, though.
भाई ये इसकी तरह लग रहा है, कौन सा मूवी था जिसमें शाहरुख खान की मूछें वगैरह थी, जिसमें होले होले वाला गाना था ना, वैसा वाला शाहरुख खान लग रहा है ये।
Wait, should we really be talking about this in front of them?
Oh, don't worry. They're my friends. You can trust them. They came with me to check up on the boat.
एक मिनट रुका ना, 2 मिनट, 2 सेकंड के लिए ऑफलाइन।
You could say we're all in the same boat here.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't mean to doubt you. I'm just being cautious. The boat is ready, but I'll have to be discreet moving it here.
Okay.
Huh? Why is that?
Because of the Sokoku Decree, the Tenryou Commission is really suspicious of any kind of seaborne vessel. Even the smallest ones, they'll stop and interrogate us, demanding to know...
I understand.
Right.
Thank you.
All right then.
Yep,
That's a long.
Oh, right!
Okay, well,
Lucky you reminded me. I've been. Of course, Pops is happy to listen to me chatter away, but because he can hardly hear anything, and I'm doing it again, aren't I? What I meant to say was, while Koichi is bringing the boat here, I need to make fireworks not just for you guys, but for those kids and Sakajiro as well. We're missing a lot of material. It'll be fine. It's actually like this every year. There's always a bunch of extra orders to slot in here and there. When people want fireworks, it's always because they have something to commemorate. And if they miss the chance, they might never get another one. So, no matter how busy I am, I'm always happy to take their orders.
So, what you're trying to say is that you enjoy the work?
Oh, I do! I really do! Being born into a family of fireworks makers, I feel like since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with watching things go boom! And then seeing all the lights and colors and... What I really wanted to say was, don't worry about me. It'll all be fine.
Oh, so that's what you
Sorry. It's just that good conversation can be as fleeting as fireworks sometimes, you know? Let's head to the city.
Question! Doesn't it hurt your voice talking all the time?
It can get uncomfortable, I guess, but what else would I be using my voice for?
Huh. You kinda have a point.
आ जाओ भाई. Okay.
Come on, enough procrastinating. Let's go.
The first experiment. अभी ये सब क्या खोल रहा है? मैं quest का बटन खोलना चाह रहा हूँ. First experiment element वाला quest ढूंढना पड़ेगा मुझे. कहाँ है? भाई क्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा असाइनमेंट से पहले, उसके बाद ही हो सकता है.
In adventuring, as in business, you always have to seize the opportunity while it's there. Don't worry. Snowfall on this scale is no impediment. We can keep moving.
Paimon has a question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow into anything?
I don't know. But I feel the importance will lie in the method, not the endpoint. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of life. After awakening, even creation may be possible.
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you were saying?
Doesn't feel like you understand.
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
You sure?
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person. How you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? Fascinating. And this floating child is...
What a stupid question! Can't you see that? And another thing, it's Paimon!
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you.
I got Paimon with a fishing rod.
Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder... Did Paimon guide the elemental? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick. Or cause the waterfall south of Springville to flow backwards.
Hey! How would you know anyway?
ये एल्बर्टो वाला बंदा पूछना क्या चाह रहा है?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this world.
मुझे नहीं पता भाई ये कौन सा.
Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in the research, it seems that only experimentation will... Firstly, let me lure a few...
Huh?
Direct and clear... Naturally...
Slimes! Slimes are fine!
Well, prepare...
भाई बंदे होंगे फाइट करने के लिए.
Nowhere to hide.
क्यों बात है इसमें मतलब बातें करते हैं. ये बंदे
Out of
होंगे
the
फाइट
frying
करने.
pan, into the fire! Don't blink! Hey! Boba, get them! Ha. Speed of light! Cut to the chase! Don't blink! Huh? Out of the frying pan! With sword comes shadow. Incoming! Ha. Yeah.
चलो भाई इनको तो मार दिया हमने.
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency Excellent. Now that we know...
Internal.
भाई इनकी
It's
बातें
very
skip
simple.
कर दो.
If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may...
Sounds kinda...
Don't worry.
And...
If anything unexpected occurs, well, it's not just a warning. If an internal... Yes, that's... It's a type of... I'll take you to my camps. All going to...
Paimon? Let's keep...
enough procrastinating. Let's go.
भाई तो कौन सा मतलब ऐसे टाइप करने का मुश्किल हो गया
Speed of light. Hey!
Nice and spicy.
Incoming. Cut to the chase. Speed of light. Incoming. Hey! Nowhere to hide.
ठंडा हो गया ठंडी ठंड लग रही है गर्मी कहाँ से भाई
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes.
मैं भूल गया था यार यहाँ पे ठंड लग जाती है और कहाँ गया
No, my sword.
तो हाँ बहुत टाइम हो गया टेंशन से
This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way. This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the concoction. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all these results from one slime battle?
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes. Following the...
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. A cryoreg in that sense.
Yes.
After all, if it turned out that...
Ah, it would... Speaking of data...
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. If all goes well, I'll hand it over to you. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
No, potion.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling... But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the flow is complete, there won't be any other effect.
So you knew you'd be sick and still...
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig.
Out of consideration.
Perhaps it's just scholarly self-assurance. In conclusion,
Aw, Paimon...
then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar. The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference. People are the same, they can understand when you're sick. But a peculiar for example, a human can't understand. To sum up, Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Having you down.
Not bad, I think.
You could.
Is he trying?
If you're interested.
ये नहीं करना second I think potion is parroting
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
water right there.
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Agreed. Well, there may be take to that for, but worlds may. So, I think answering this question calls for the same method. No. You now see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best.
What's with the...
Have you tried using... I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation. Anyway.
Cooking?
Not only is this recipe...
That does sound yummy, though. Okay,
No,
Paimon approves.
I'll leave you to it then. Looking for... If there's any...
How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower...
Sunshine Strato, huh? ऐसे तो सीखने लगा
That was fast. Looking forward to testing the results. An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Seems like food presents the same headaches in your world as it does ours. Unless...
We just did...
Not to worry. And here's your...
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying...
I can tell that... Not that...
Hey! But you do have... And you're right!
Yes. There are all I managed to
Paimon's...
Don't worry if you can't... If you had... I must have...
So... Guess we'd better take a look. Oh, yeah! This must be electrohypostasis powder. The extract of an animal crystal fly can only be animal elemental energy, right?
Alright.
Goodness, you managed to find them. I'm wondering, this elemental sight, this is what...
Yep. Guess it does sort of count as a superpower.
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is seldom seen, it is not unheard of in Teyvat. Only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit to my research.
You mean, we failed?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, getting these items back, I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental traces. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research on your identity as one of us is just beginning. In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical capabilities. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, could you see her then? So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into 1,000,000 fragments? Then could you see her? Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please,
Still in one piece. Good thing the vial's so strong. You want...
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative analysis.
The opposite side of the lake. So...
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using the method that seems most rational. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might find the whole thing. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, every detail is invaluable to the... Then if you would, please, I eagerly await the...
Wait a minute! While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing... emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. I've never... Your reputation precedes you, Traveler. The data shows that you're easily outperforming the average citizen in Monster.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking us.
Me? Actually, if it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, I should be able to make various inferences about the otherworldly civilization. If the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then I shall be able to make inferences into the kind of evolution that would occur under the absence of such effects. The innumerable possibilities that this could present, the captivating insights, it would be something to savor again.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I should be able to show you something interesting. I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual specimens. I hope you won't be offended. Gold, petrified trees, a sun 8 times the size of our own. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling, but such feelings are inevitably fleeting in nature. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of a Sunsetia or a sweet flower. They cease to be noteworthy.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to paint those hilichurls? Because you got to see something new and interesting?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these creatures are, for the most part, quite boring, not worth closer inspection. There is precious little about them that serves to...
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be, like, boring to you? Like some...
Of course not. Now, follow me.
There's nothing better to do. We could go foraging for ingredients.
आज क्या है मम्मी Thunder Super Thundering Fury Thunder Shooter Thunder Fury
Or at least for an Abyss run, where you can keep this passive up. This is especially relevant for the Abyss, as I said, because if you do accidentally take with a very tanky shield, which will allow you to 10v.
Let's see the details.
Surprisingly good, since EM is actually good for Kaching. But will also just deal a lot more damage than you were dealing before because of the way this reaction works. In fact, since Aggravate is a reaction that does additive damage, it will be affected with the stats that you're building on your Kaching. It scales on your Elemental Mastery, your damage bonus, and your crit, for example, which means that it's going to be doing a ton of damage. On top of that, since you want to be applying as much Electro as possible, running a team like her burst takes a couple of seconds to complete.
Though, so the 8 seconds will feel probably closer to 6 seconds or so after using it, but overall that Ascension pass. That is great. Keqing's infusion isn't a multiplier like Yoimiya or Hu Tao though, it's actually just an infusion, there's no extra numbers behind it, so you want to level up your normal attacks first, since that's where most of your damage is going to come from if you're not using her in a quick swap team. However, if you do use her in a quick swap team, which we'll talk about later in the video, most of her damage
Didn't keep you waiting, did I?
Witness the power of Guhua. Rain outlines your punishment. You can't run.
Think you can get away?
Incoming. Judgment. Hey! Change of plan. Cut to the chase. Yeah!
Brace yourselves.
Judgment.
Time for takeoff.
Don't blink. Yeah! Body and mind. Lights out. Rain outlines your fate. Let me weave you a verse. Judgment! You can't run!
Think you can get away? Speed of light! Hey! I will not... quietly. Here we go!
Punishment!
Let's play!
Things are getting interesting. Witness the power of Guhua.
Time for takeoff. Here we go!
You can't run!
Lights out.
No, my sword! Rain outlines your fate.
Yahoo!
You can't at least no more work.
Don't worry. Snowfall on this scale is no impediment. We can keep moving.
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical I'd like you to There are 2 puzzles. As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. A tried and... So, let's... It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
I can't wait any longer! Out of the frying pan, into the fire! Nice and spicy! Boba, get them! Nice and spicy!
Judgment!
Didn't keep you waiting, did I? Brace yourself. Huh? Wouldn't gliding be faster? Yahoo! Incoming! Out of the frying pan, into the fire! Speed of light! Hey! Incoming!
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out.
Hey! Explaining things is Paimon's job!
Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. They can be found all over. There's still a lot to learn about them. And as for why they should ever have come to rest here, let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in greater detail.
Another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable mystery this, weird experiment that. It'd be nice to get some cool results for one. Seems like if you want the reward, you gotta pay the price.
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively, the little reward I can offer is too small to mention. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to seeing the results of all, unless you can think of anything better to do.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on here.
You!
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything that you and Albedo have been up to. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potions? Participating in all... I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps...
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy...
No way! Paimon would have sensed it! And then...
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't send. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back.
So, what are you gonna do?
I've got to hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous, that's good. I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are these symbols.
But we don't even...
That much is true. Not to mention, but for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. This is... Now then. All things considered, I deem that you pose no immediate threat, which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! So, Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh. Never...
We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look. You're back. Good timing. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? I wouldn't worry. Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today. And it was... But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is... You're very much like a human from this world.
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing. Have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. Under the effects of Teyvat's natural luck, but after I had imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, and now to fruition. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself? It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty. Life's proudest achievement.
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a momentary burst is precious. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived to perfection, is necessarily one unburdened by loneliness. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Things feel... Don't be sad. You've got Albedo, Paimon really wants...
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, it certainly doesn't hurt. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey for me. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help again? Well... I made a point throughout of telling her how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections. but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of a substance. If, one day, I lose control, can I rely on you to stop me?
From her burst, and so for that reason, I would level her normals, followed by her burst, and then her elemental skill overall, just generally speaking. If you're trying to pre-farm for her, you need Books of Prosperity, Whopper Flower Nectar, and Rings of Boreas from the Wolfweed Fleet. So now let's talk about weapons for Katsing. There are way too many swords in this game for me to go over every single one, but I will talk about the best options and some good free-to-play options, and for reference, you guys, I used a bunch of different weapon spreadsheets, but the best one to reference is going to be from Katsing mains for obvious reasons. So if you've been playing Katsing, then you probably know that Mist Splitter is technically your best in slot. The one thing to note about...
I'm all for work-life balance, but I think...
Mist Splitter.
about this is that
Pushing it.
That you do have to make sure you're getting all of the stacks on the splitter for it to actually beat out Jade Cutter. And generally speaking, if you know how to play Kitsing to a high level, it's not very hard for you to get all the stacks. But for more casual players, you may not pay as much attention to it, and so your damage ceiling is lowered by a lot. Miss Splitter is definitely best and becomes just a stat stick. Right below Miss Splitter, and I mean right below Miss Splitter, is Jade Cutter, which has it can be used in electro, physical, or any other elemental Kitsing build. It's really solid, and it just works unconditionally. Jade Cutter is just generally one of the most flexible weapons in the game, and so if you ever see it on a couple of Summit Shaper's stacks, Summit Shaper's passive allows you Kitsing to get a lot higher of an attack stat, but the one downside would be that if you're going to run this weapon, you need to play Kitsing with a shield, and you need to have good crit substats, because crit builds are always going to be stronger than full attack builds for Kitsing. The same thing with crits applies to Lion's Roar as well, since its passive is super strong for Electro Kitsing, and it's one of her best weapons at Refinement 5. This weapon works best in Electro charge teams because its passive only works with crits applies to Lion's Roar as well, since its passive is super strong for Electro Kitsing, and it's one of her best weapons at Refinement 5. This
थोड़ी देर बाद देना
weapon works best in Electro Charge teams because its passive only works with Electro Pyro applied, and if you apply Pyro, the Battle Pass for its crit rate and its passive, Akila Favoni, which ends up being tied with Jade Cutter for physical Kaching, but it's about on par with the Black. It's an amazing weapon because of how much crit it gives you, but it's about on par with the Black Sword in an Electro build. The free-to-play Inazuma Sword, whose name I can't pronounce, and Harbinger of Dawn at Refinement 5 are also great options. Now, the one thing I want to say about Harbinger of Dawn is it's an amazing weapon because of how much crit it gives you with its passive, but in current content, I actually don't recommend it. Right now, the Spiral Abyss and even some overworld content has Rift Wolves as the featured premier enemy that they just want to shove down our throats, and Harbinger's passive is only on when you're above 90% health. Because of corrosion, it can be really hard to keep that health up, so I actually wouldn't recommend using Harbinger of Dawn right now, but in the future, if we see that mechanic go away and you happen to roll its Black Cliffs, the Flute, Skyward Blade, Freedom Sworn, and Alley Fly building physical Kitsing, because its base attack is really high and it gives physical damage bonus as its main stat. There are tons of other weapons in the game like Black Cliff, the Flute, Skyward Blade, Freedom Sworn, and Alley Flash, but generally speaking, the weapon
adventuring, as in business.
Weapons I listed above are Lions paired the two. So Electro can take general both of those builds. For an Electro Kutzing build, you actually have a few options. The best one is going to be 2-piece Thundering Fury and 2-piece Gladiator or Shimon. Nawa, because it's unconditional and it just gives you good stat bonuses. 18% attack is nice and 15% electro damage is nice, and overall it's just really comfy. Now technically the 4-piece Thunder Soother set is higher damage output overall, but it does have some caveats to it, like being forced to run Electro Charge. If you're playing Thunder Soother without an Electro Charge team, there can be plenty of enemies who don't get that Electro application that you're looking for to boost your damage, and there are some enemies like Slimes that just will never get Electro on them if they're not Hydro. So overall Thunder Soother can be really solid, but it really just depends on the content you're doing. Another solid option is to run 2-piece Gladiator into Shimenawa, because that'll give you just a fat 36% attack bonus, and it can be super easy to farm because eventually you're probably going to have 2 good Gladiator pieces, and Shimenawa is just going to cover all of the farming you're doing for. So many characters use that. So these two pieces can actually be really solid. Between all of those sets, though, I would just choose the ones that let you crit the best, or just have the best general substats. For reference, your substat priority is just going to be crit rate and crit damage until you get at least a 50 to 100 ratio, which isn't actually that hard to do with Kutzing because of her Ascension. But yeah, just focus on crit as much as you can for her artifacts, and then attack percent is also very good. Kutzing doesn't actually really need that much energy recharge as is because her burst cost is already so low. For main stats, you're going to want an attack percent Sands, an electro damage Goblet, and a crit rate or crit damage Circlet, and overall those should get you the best damage on Electro Kutzing. To skip an elemental burst, or you're going to have to miss a window. It doesn't really.
You always have to seize the opportunity while it's there.